First and foremost, my name is Guru Patel. I'm a serial disrupting entrepreneur. I've lived and worked across many countries in the world. Give you my story in a minute, but I'd like to do something different today, right? So I'm not here to sit here and lecture you guys and go blah, blah, blah. I don't want to make it like a university kind of lecture session. I want you to get the most out of my experiences around the world across multiple verticals and sectors, hundreds of angel jobs, so many innovation jobs. So can't cram it into this short time we have, but just assume nothing and just throw anything at me, all right? So first and foremost, before standing up and doing all that, let's see what you want to get out of this session, all right? And I'll try and cover that and let you know what we have. So the whole thing is about, everyone talks about blockchain, everyone talks about crypto, but I don't want to sit here and say you stupid apes and gorillas and NFTs and DeFi and all that, right? I'm into real world solutions for real world problems, okay? And then if blockchain fits into that as a solution, use it. So I'm not into doing that fashion fad related things. That is from experience meeting some of the biggest people you dream of in this space, I know, all right? Been on stage, off stage, party, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's hit me. Who's going to be bold to tell me what they want to get out of it? Someone over here already asked me, right? Go for it.
Since your experience working as an angel investor, right? So, on current Web3 companies, what do you look after to invest in those particular companies? Most of VC fundings like Sequoia Capital, Tiger Global, etc. have gone bankrupt due to FTX and
Sequoia is not bankrupt.
No. I mean, their investing has gone down, right? Their investment has gone literally to zero due to FTX, etc. So
not due to FTX. Before even FTX, they've lost lots of money.
Yeah.
So the question is, what do I see as a success criteria, or what do you mean?
Yes. So what do you look for before investing in a particular Web3 startup?
Okay, why Web3 first? Because that's what you're interested in, right?
Yeah. So Web3 is like
it's the new fashion, right?
Kind of.
Okay, gotcha. So my background is from Sun Microsystems. You can Google it. So well before so when .com started, we were at the heart of that. And I was at the heart of doing the open source foundation. We took over Unix, which is Solaris, gave it out. Linux happened. We took over Java. All that thing started. We took our Star Office, way too often Office. So I was the visionary behind quite a lot of this. Well before Google existed. And I've been lucky and blessed enough to be at that forefront as a visionary in the Valley, as well as helping the new companies, including the Googles, the Facebooks, the Amazons, the blah, blah, blah. In fact, before Amazon happened, I did India Plaza over here when I was visiting, well before Amazon, eBay, all these things existed, right? So why would you invest in those companies, and why Web3? So Web3 was in the vision even when we started the standard web with Netscape, well before you were born, right? Okay, so there are many things I look at. So we invest, I have a huge fund, and in our fund, I have like 156 lines for due diligence, right? But the main thing I look at for any investment, all right, be it Web3, NFTs, DeFi, you name it, whatever the business is, I look at the people first. I pay more attention to the people. Has this person, the CEO first, and his core team have what I call the killer instinct and what's needed to make their kite fly? Anyone can design a kite and write white papers, pitch decks, blah, blah, blah. Anyone can do that. In fact, you can fiber it out and get it done, right? But if this team hasn't got the skills, experience, the killer instinct, and I shouldn't say this, but I will. I'm clean. You should be able to be funded or mortgaged. Even your wife is mortgaged. You need to have that level of commitment, right? That this is your real baby and you'll do anything to make it happen. So if I see that, then that's the first step. Then I start the other things. So then it's all the usual things about company, institutions, market analysis, all the usual things you see, and then the market, the target addressable market, whether it's realistic, what your competitors are doing, what makes you different, what makes you different is very important because, Web3, when you just say Web3, there's hundreds and thousands of Web3 so-called projects, right? But what is it that you are doing within the big Web3 model that makes you unique and different, that will solve not the old little problem, the massive scale problem? So that's what I'll do. Answer your question?
I have one more doubt. So regarding people like Sam Bankman-Fried was considered as a visionary, right?
No, he wasn't.
So
There was no visionary. There are many, many exchanges that existed before SBF came on, and I've met him.
So if SBF came to you, what red flags would you have noticed like before all
I would
this?
have invested in his exchange. End of story. I mean, it's an exchange. There are hundreds of. I've done 2 exchanges myself. 4 years ago, I did the world's first futures and options exchange. So to me, an exchange doesn't mean anything. Look at it. How many thousands of exchanges there are today, right? And I also. So exchange doesn't solve the world's problem, right? There's nothing unique about it. So my name is Guru Patel, as I said. I was born in Kenya. My father was born in Tanzania. My grandfather left Gujarat. He was a neighbor of Sardar Vallabh Patel, for those of you who know him or have heard of him. He was our neighbor. Long story short, he went there in 1890s, my grandfather, and Google SatNav wasn't there at the time, so God knows how he got there. And always been an entrepreneur. Okay, so if you think about that whole journey, it shows bold, brave, challenging, having teeth, as I keep telling you, Karan, to do all the time. Get some teeth into doing any job, any business, any opportunity. So you should have that, be bold, right, as an entrepreneur. And then I've lived in UK, I've lived in Bali, Germany, a little bit in India, Romania, many places in the world, Estonia, Spain, blah, blah, blah. All right? I speak 6 languages. The main thing I do is right from the offset. So I was in computing, I did computing. The family didn't like it, but I followed the passion. It's like, how many watch 3 Idiots? One of my favorite movies. Wow, majority I expect that in this part of the world, actually. Okay, so when he says he's doing the civil engineering, but he liked wildlife photography, right? So this is the thing. Even though my strong subjects were chemical engineering, chemistry, pharmacy, doctor, dentist, all these things, last minute I changed because I couldn't see myself dispensing drugs or cutting someone open. Because you have a bad day at work, you could kill someone, right? So I went against them all, even though the family didn't like it, and did computing, right? So lesson number 1, follow your passion. Because if you don't like what you're doing, you will not succeed, because you need to be waking up, sleeping, thinking, eating, drinking what you have a passion for, right? And that way you get the most fun out of it. And if you don't get the fun out of it, you won't give much into it. So you go there doing a job rather than making something different, right? So that's always been my thing. So today, in the true 3 Idiots way of doing it, I'm not here to teach you about something. I'm here to share my pearls of wisdom to help you in your journey in the wide world. Why did I do this? So the main reason is I spend 10% of my time in what I call paying forward. All right. So you've got to learn that in life. Just pay forward, and pay forward selflessly. 10% of your time, 20%, 5%, whatever you can afford, but have some amount of time doing the good things and paying it forward. All right. So I see the future of the world innovation, leaders, all that sitting here and outside in IIT. All right. So you got to do that. So they fast track their own, your own journey into life without jumping over too many hurdles. You lessen the number of hurdles, right? So let's get down to blockchain, okay? Today, I don't want to talk about blockchain and how to do DeFi, Web3, all these types of projects. I will not talk it from a technology point, and you guys should learn that as well. It is so easy and sexy to talk about bits and bytes and all of that. I remember when we were starting the whole .com thing, we were talking about DNS servers and TCP IPs, ours, NFCs, ours, this is ours, this is ours. That's not the way to do it. I was one of these crazy guys who was always talking for people's problems. and making it almost like a light switch. Why do you care about the DNS servers and IP and all this hosting services and how your domain is set up and how the domain goes there? We didn't have plug and play in those days, right? So you had to configure all of these things, right? So we never talked, or I never talked about it that way, even though I came from a computing background. You only talk about it from the other end. And the way you talk it from the other end is you have a retail store. For example, I remember telling Toys R Us about this. I said, if you don't go and embrace this whole internet way of selling your products and services, you will not survive. Come time, you will not survive. And sure enough, it happened, right? And hundreds and thousands of other people, we were telling them this. So the reason is people don't have time, all right? And the more they get on the internet, they don't have time to go out, spend time in Bombay. It's a nightmare with the traffic and all that, to go to stores, pick, choose, things like that, right? So how do you make that easy for them just to go there and buy stuff that they need to without having to waste all that time? Especially for the typical branded stuff, right? It's very easy. It's not going to be different, right? So that's why in those days we called it e-commerce, and that's why it started. So we didn't say, oh, you must do .com, you must do TCP/IP this and have a website host and all this. We didn't talk it like that. So talk from a problem and a solution. So today's problems, next slide, right? And I chose this because the subject we agreed is how to solve some of the world's biggest problems just now, right? And the reason why I've been on this journey for a few years, because I'm one of these guys, when everyone's going this way with their boats and fish and all that, I'm the guy going in the opposite direction, right? So with that in mind, I was saying, how do I address the world's largest problems just now? And then the solutions can come. And where blockchain fits, we'll use blockchain. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Blockchain is not the mantra that you should say, I will do a Web3 blockchain solution for X. Start by saying what your problem is, what the solution is, and what's the best way of doing it. And I'm sure 90% of the time blockchain will fit. But don't start with this, all right? Start with that. So if we take it from the top, there's a lot of poverty in the world. We agree with that? Yeah? The tech companies are messing the hell out of people and taking advantage of us as product. Do we agree with that?
Yes.
YouTube, Google, some of my ex-bosses, by the way. YouTube, Google, you name it. TikToks, Facebooks. They make and keep 99% of all this revenue. The buggers don't even pay tax in the country. Go check it out, how much tax Amazon, Starbucks, Netflix, all these guys actually pay even in India. Hardly anything, trust me. And they're making billions, right? So it's wrong. That model is wrong. I'm out there to disrupt that. I'll talk about that in a minute. Because us, the product, people who go there, go on it, do the like, comment, share, etc. We are the product. They get the volume, they get the eyeballs, and what do we get? All right? Fair or unfair? All right? So last year, we developed a product, tokenization of asset product. We even tokenized the likes, comments, and shares. Last year, when we won that, we tokenized likes, comments, and shares. So even the Chota guy in Africa and India is in my heart and soul, I guess. So we made sure that those guys, even if they earn the $1, they can eat, right? And you'll be surprised, that's more than 2 billion people, by the way. All right? And we've got several solutions that we've started looking at. But look at it from the problem. Okay, so that's the first one, from poverty. With poverty comes hunger, right? So we have developed and are still investing in several companies that address those sorts of problems. Okay? We'll talk about that in a minute. All right? Good health and well-being. Again, the whole world, the full 7-8 billion people, health is important, whether it's Chinese type of health, Ayurvedic type of health, Western ways of health. Health is a problem, okay? Needs solutions from whichever angle you come in. And there's various ways of delivering health care to the people, all right? So we're addressing that as well. Then comes education. Okay, I'm sorry to say I'm not a big university fan because it educates it does not give you proper exposure and training. Because without criticizing the guys too much, and I've been through this by the way, so reality is professors and all these guys, they'll research what is out there in the wide world. Thank God for internet, you can know about a lot of things these days. It's a lot easier. Okay? However, people who are doing real world extra competitive, extra sensitive types of research in any subject matter generally will not post their research papers, white papers, whatever it is. So they won't have access to some of that content. And if they don't have access to that innovative content, then it won't be taught at universities. So my advice is, as we are building several products around EduSite, where the content is from the actual innovators talking about it. Yeah, so that's the best experience you can get, because without that, you'll have a degree and you'll be in the what I call the employment ladder, working your way up, rather than thinking out of the box of what is really, really possible. Agree with that? No. I got that. All right. Next, so several edu platforms. Gender equality. I've always had that. I've employed women. Unfortunately, in the blockchain space, there aren't enough women. So, ladies out there, you need to get in here, because let me give you some inside information, the ladies. When you're a lady entering into the blockchain space, you will be more in demand than the men. All right? Fact. Do we agree, ladies? Are we in for it? I don't see your hand going up. Don't be shy. You don't realize what power you really have. Because in the world, especially in the Western world, all this gender equality thing is taken at another level. So I'm not saying abuse it, that advantage, but use it in a sensible way. Be bold, be brave, come forward, and put your ideas and viewpoints with some research done. You'll be surprised how much you get embraced and brought in to be mentored. All right? So take advantage of that. Clean water and things is a problem around the world. More than 2-3 billion people in the world don't have access to clean drinking water, right? Our body, 60, 70, 80%, depends what research you look at. Without that, you can't survive, right? So, huge problem. Look for those solutions, right? I will express some of these solutions in a minute, but those are the things you need to look out for. Affordable and clean energy. So the world is currently, I guess, paranoid to a certain amount that it will end in some time because of the environment, the pollution, fossil fuel, all these kinds of things they talk about. My view is, this is what everyone do. Let's do solar, let's do wind, let's do hydro, let's do this to create renewable energy related solutions. I'm saying reduce the existing consumption in a different way, because this takes time. If you reduce the existing problem, then it makes it much better, and you're helping the environment, and you're helping the climate change, and you're helping all these things. Okay, give you some examples there. That's a major problem. Now we look at decent work and economic growth. By the way, how many people have seen the SDG goals slide? Very few of you. Wow. So that's a thing from the United Nations, by the way. Yeah, so I'm a member there. And they try and solve world problems. Try and solve, I say that because at the end of the day, sorry to say, it's government-like people where the action takes that much longer to execute rather than just getting a bunch of people to execute only, right? So, but the intentions and the goals and all this is defined really, really well. And this reflects that, okay? So we address all of them as well. So in the work and economic growth, what we're talking about is an environment at the workplace that helps the world's economy in various business value add solutions. You will note, I don't talk about web, I haven't talked about blockchain, whether which chain is better than the other. First look at it at that, then we'll talk about that. So as long as we agree these are some of the world's problems, let's take one, whatever your interest, passion is, and research the hell out of it, see what exists, what doesn't exist, and then develop something along those lines, right? And I can carry on this list till whenever, but let's get down to some solutions. Okay? Right, let's take it from the top. So poverty. Now, I gave one small example earlier, but here's another one. We've developed about 2 apps and partnered. When I say partnered, means we've invested $65 million in various projects that help address some of these, right? And then another $1 billion is going to go in for some of these other projects we've got already on our radar. And then we take equity positions, coming back to you, we take equity positions, coach, mentor them, because 95% of these guys fail. Hence, you name Sequoia and all these guys, trust me, they have the same nightmare. 95% will fail. The reason is they are more hands-off. I take a hands-on approach, right? So you have to do that. 80% of them that I've seen don't even know how to manage money. All right, when you're in that startup, have not done it, haven't failed. I've made and lost tens of millions myself. So the failure is the best teacher in all of this. So in the poverty side, we've got, let me give you a few examples, which are close to India, so you'll understand it more. So the farmers over here, they grow their fruit, vegetable, trees, whatever they grow. They have a good year, they have a bad year, and the bad year generally happens during harvest time. Whilst if you think about the world's problems, the SDG problems, that they don't even know about or they don't know how to monetize that. So how do they address the carbon credits and the carbon offsets on all these things that are growing? Do we understand that, or am I blah, blah, blah? Yeah? You understand that, right? So when they're growing all these fruits, vegetables, whatever they're doing, right, it produces and helps the environment in the carbon footprint ecosystem, right? So we've developed a wallet, and it's from Reseed, and another one through OneCoin, Wheelcoin. And what we're trying to do is anything from the farmers using their means of mobility to the farm. If it's equal, they get a credit for it in tokens. Then they grow the things. Depends on what they're growing. Satellite images as well as IoT devices in the ground. And they get their carbon offsets credited to them. So these tokens then can be monetized for them to buy other things, food, clothes, whatever they want to spend the money, or put it in a wealth creation, wealth management thing so it accumulates, because this was money they didn't have. So instead of putting the money in the bank, I like banking, I don't like banks. Okay, I'm straight up with that. So we give them that solution where they make more money than having the money sitting in the bank. 90% of them don't generally do that anyway, but the solution is there. It will take time and education. So their carbon offset, 50% we give to them. Their mobility again, 50% we give to them. So these are additional revenues that we are giving to these people, right? And yes, their technology that is using all of those solution provision touch points is based on blockchain. But anything from the tokenization side through to the source, to the shelf, to the client life cycle of the product. Okay, so you know what conditions that product has gone through the supply chain. And we've got a supply chain company as well called Libera, and Libera on blockchain does that whole supply chain on blockchain, where the product right up to the shelf can be traced on the whole journey on the blockchain. We've taken it a step further, given that data, with doing some big data analysis tools with the Cambridge Analytica people. Anyone heard of Cambridge Analytica? Very few, okay. They are the people who exposed Facebook. We know that court case, people who remember that court case, right? So they are on our board. And what happens now is the suppliers, so be it toothpaste, cornflakes, whatever it is on the shelf, they generally don't know how much sales they do at the store level, which store it is, or even at the distribution point. They don't generally know. So if they had that information that was verified, then they could plan better the distribution, then the shipping, then the storage and logistics places, and the cooling. And think if they optimize that with verified data on blockchain rather than pen, paper, or phone call, people hiding, cooking books, all that kind of stuff happens in the world, then they also have an impact on the environment. Make sense? So that environment aspect is additional revenue that goes back to the community. And again, we have a model where X% goes to the people contributing, charity, and all these kinds of things. So we help address the poverty, the hunger, and all that through our whole ecosystem, right? And I'll talk about that in a minute as well, right? Let's talk about healthcare, okay? Parts of India, parts of Africa, and outside that's about 2 billion people plus again. They don't have access to any form of healthcare until it's too late. So typically what would happen in their village or their town or whatever, a few specialists would come on Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something, and you go there, take an appointment and go there. By that time you could be dead. All right? Let's be honest, okay? So what we have partnered up with in a couple of healthcare and telehealth-based companies are incentivizing people, physicians, specialists, anywhere in the world to come on it and give instant advice for a small fee. Make sense? And that small fee is subsidized via insurance or governments or whoever, right? So instantly, instead of even looking for an appointment from your GP, you could go to an unmanned station and do like 70 or 80% of the diagnostics. So it's a company in India we're doing that with as well. So you can do anything from putting your hand in and doing all the usual blood pressures, diabetes tests, heart, oxygen levels, various other things. And based on that, that content will be there in your blockchain ID as an NFT, and it's your data. So we are now taking it to the next level. We're saying to pharmacists, this is my data, right? Now, I have XYZ medication, I have ABC type of health conditions. I'm going to sell you my NFT use based on how your product and your drug is acting on me. Look at the traditional way they do it. They go out, pay research people, do monkey tests and rat tests and all these things, and it all costs money. It's not verified. You're now getting real data from the patient based on your medication he's taking, based on your health condition to see how they progress, right? You could sell that. It's your data. You're saving them billions of dollars. Why aren't you getting paid for it? Is that fair or is that not fair? Right? It's your data, right? So that's the level of disruption we're doing across the whole thing. We are challenging everyone in their space. Because what happens with farmers is they pay people, they pay all these labs, hell, they even pay research guys to write things that are against this. But if it's on blockchain verified with people's data, they're on good crap about it, right? So let's be honest. So now, we want to create that movement where the people have that power and they should be paid for it fairly, And if you choose to share, comment, like, do it to whoever on whatever part of your data, your ID-based data, coming to the Web3 side, you have your own Web3 wallet, you have your own Web3 domain, you have your own ID with all the data that you think you should be able to share, your things, your interests, your lifestyle, your restaurants, watches, whatever it is that you want to share on, to get targeted information coming to you rather than the blind, stupid call, hello sir, I'm calling you about this from the call center, and you get fed up with that, right? There's nothing that you're interested in, okay? So we are creating where we become, I have a mantra on our eWealth Tech as well as our My Token as capital, where my vision is where everyone can be the coin. I want everyone to be the coin, right? So with that, we take it to the next level then. Once you have that data, why can't you have a smart wallet, even with your medical condition? So should you be caught in an accident, God forbid, and they find you, they say, oh, this guy, don't give him insulin, don't give him this, yes, this, blah, blah, blah. Before the ambulance comes there, they know what they are treating with, and he's on X, Y, Z medication, so they know how to treat you better, right? So that's where we are going with the healthcare side. Let's find another one. Energy. I got it. So, classic. How many people would think that if you put a computer inside water, it would electrocute and it will get messed up? Yeah? Yeah, right? So we have this company where it's called Immersion 4, where you insert the server inside this special coolant and liquid, which is coolant plus water. Alright? And when you immerse it in, it reduces more than 50% of your energy consumption. So that addresses today's problems. Alright? Why create more energy sources, fossil fuel, solar, whatever, when if you reduce the existing use by more than 50%, you've already made a huge impact on the environment. Alright? So this coolant, you put all the servers, miners, whatever you have, inside this liquid, close it, the heat dissipated from that thing is recycled for other things, and the electric power required goes down by 50%. The age and the components usage increases by almost twofold. So you're not required to produce more silicon or whatever to make more chips, computers, etc., because you elongated the life of the components of these servers, right? So now mining saving, all the electricity saving, the power, the trucks, the ships, all of this thing, it's gone down. So the impact on the environment is significantly high when all we're doing is reducing cost of energy. But the side products and the environment impact is huge. Got it? We have another one with mobility. So coming back to the farmers and the local people who use various ways of transport, we have a mobility coin where, how do you impact the environment? You are walking, or you're taking a truck or a tractor, depends where you are, has all this impact on the environment. If you use better forms of transport, you use a bicycle, an EV Uber, or an EV car, or a scooter, or a rickshaw, whatever it may be, you get credit for it. It will notice it, and you get credit for it. And then you can spend that and monetize it. So it incentivizes you to go on those special trains, buses, cars, whatever it is, and incentivizes you to use that alternative source of mobility. So imagine the 2-3 billion people having an impact to have yet another source of income for what they're doing, which is also kind to the environment. So coming back to your angel thing, so to pick on you, I have a thing, I don't look for unicorns, I look for camels. It's been my mantra for a number of years. Why do I look for camels and not unicorns? Okay, let me tell you. Unicorns are for people who are dreaming, is kiss me quick. I won't use bad language. kiss me quick, give me the babies fast. And I want to spend and have a good life. That's the unicorn life's dream, right? It's a dream. I would rather invest in people and companies who are like camels. No matter what kind of terrain, whether they get food, water, they go and go and go until they get to their destination. Because the world will change. Any project, any product you do, let me tell you, it will change by the end of the life of that project. So just be prepared. He who can, or she who can go through those humps and different hurdles on a daily basis and shows experience, strength, stamina, then those are the ones that will survive. So to me, unicorns, camels is more my thing, alright? Some of the projects I mentioned, so Infinitum is doing waste to energy. The world, if you think about years, you don't have to go far over here to see how waste is dispersed everywhere. So we have projects where it takes waste and converts it into fuel, converts it into energy. And yes, we will use blockchain again to monetize people and incentivize people to do all of that. But we're not saying, oh, we got an energy coin or oh, we got this coin, right? No. Bring it back to real life problems and you will hit the nail on the head, right? We have a whole exchange and marketplace we are launching in UK next year to make what I call a world's super app to solve these problems and to help monetize people and to create sustainable humanity. Yes, it happens to have blockchain behind a lot of this, happens to have proper digital wallets behind it, wealth creation and wealth management things behind it, staking, DeFi related stuff. But the people don't need to know, man. Do you know how the lights work here? No, on off switch. So if you make it that simple, then you will be more viral and accepted in the world, right? Libera I mentioned about, Reseed I mentioned about, Wheelcoin I mentioned about, Metagaming app. So we're doing the whole thing in the future using Metaverse, okay? Why Metaverse? Because the future of tomorrow, with the gamification side, I would rather see the world come out and, I would see that I'm there and I hate these Oculuses. It's just to play games. When it becomes this sort of thing, which I know we help Google start doing these, when it's as simple as this and you can go like that and shop or bank through voice control and this way, and when you make it that simple, that's when you get adoption. Okay? So we're looking at several projects along those lines, and we've got 2 partnerships with the Metaverse specialists. Okay, we're also doing our own events company. We have Digital Bank doing another one next year. Another 2, we create healthcare funds, loyalty cards at ACT News. Okay, so we all have loyalty cards of some way, shape, or form. And if you think about those loyalty cards, we can't monetize it. 60-70% is wasted. Really is wasted. So we've created an aggregation platform where you can swap between them or monetize them. The Chota points, nobody has time to really monetize them, right? And you lose it. So we try to monetize it through that, and we have the exchange and marketplace and the platform to do that. So I look at me and I say, this is my real universe. I have 800 apps or whatever on my phone, and it's a nightmare, man. It really is a nightmare. You open this and you say, so many apps, right? And you have little groups, you have that sort of thing, and you go like that, and it's crazy. So how do you make this as simple as possible? So we're trying to create kind of like super apps with little mini verticals to make that journey easy, whether it's your banking or any of these things we talk about, and then Metaverse in the future, we're trying to build that. So now you're really helping to solve in a nice, simple way for everyone to be in their real world rather than this virtual world, right? So that's the trick. I don't want to go into the banking and all that. I want to hear more from you guys. Throw me questions. Is that all right? We've got time to throw questions? Right. Who's going to start, or do I have to pull teeth? There's a more. Do you know something? Take a lesson. In life, to him as well. In life, if you want to get something, please don't be shy. Don't think like that. He who goes forward, he who challenges, being confident, the more experience you get, the better you'll be. So, you snooze, you lose, the people say. You don't ask something, you'll go home and you won't say, I wish I'd asked, I wish I didn't. Don't think, I'm here because I want to be here, right? So don't be shy, please. Any question? Go for it. I'll come to you. Sorry, go for it. Yes? Okay, so 80% of that project is already done. Alright? Now we're doing that super app with all those things, your mobility, if you're doing farming, if you're doing contribution to content, you'll have your own under Web3. So think of it as your own Web3 domain. So you can have your own domain. What's your name? Sneha. Okay. So you could have a sneha.mytc or something. And if anyone wants to send you money, none of those long addresses, send it at sneha.mytc or something. Any coin, send it over here. You'll have your own wallet. Do you understand? So you don't have to think and cut, paste these long things, have a hash, do a security code, all these horribly difficult ways of transacting on blockchain. Understand? So that's where we're going with that. So early days, well, early 6 months away. Does that answer your question? Go for it.
So yeah, the vision is fantastic for sure. But how do you plan to scale towards rural India? Because like most of them haven't even onboarded in banking technologies. So
Great question. We incentivize them and we find community leaders. Okay, so in India, I didn't talk about the milk thing. So something for women's equality and all that. Classic project. The farmers go out, generally men. The women stay in, do the milk, sell it, buy products, and all that, right? So we've got a project called Saswat in northern India. It's piloting now. It's already making money. So what happens is the ladies, they have to do this. They've got to look after the cow's health. They got to feed it properly. They got to do all these things. And then I have to cook for the husbands and do all these things. But then they have to transport that milk to Amul Dairy, for example, right? Actually, it is Amul Dairy. So they go to Amul Dairy, right? And they could go in a tractor, in a rickshaw, in a whatever. And by the time they got there, the milk is the milk is buggered up, right? So, and they use it for lower quality products then, be it yogurt or whatever it is, right? And what we do is right from the start, 99% of them generally have issues to do with daily financing, right? Money to eat and put food on the table, generally. So we give a microfinance loan to them to do anything from their animal health. In fact, we've got an animal health project. So the microfinancing helps that. And then we collect the milk in special EV-based Bajaj, I think it is Bajaj. These vehicles, they come with special coolant IoT control, yeah? And it takes you to Amul Dairy. Amul Dairy then processes and all that, gets the money. But in every village, we have a champion leader and then a business development person in every region. And they all get part of the ecosystem. So instead of them losing money on milk which has arrived dead on arrival, we'll say that is our problem. So we cut that cost. Your cost of transportation, we cut that. Your cost of doing the bottling and all this stuff, we pick it up and we do all of that. And then we give them a simple wallet or a simple app, depends on what they're used to, and the local community leader trains them, teaches them, and is that call that's going around that whole area. And that's how you do the slowly onboarding of the coin, and we incentivize them now. So we incentivize them by improving their sales, improving their profit, reducing their time spent on transport, cost of transport, cost of that product on arrival. So these are real benefits for them, right? And we monetize it for them.
So do you plan to even educate them about blockchain technologies?
No. The minute you start that, you've lost. Think what I said so many times, light switch. They don't care what happens behind. They won't be, if you try teaching them about blockchain, you're losing. Light switch, man. Really. Simple. Keep it absolutely simple. Aapka doodh milega, paisa milega. That's it. Doodh deo, paisa leo.
So like, is it just for dairy products or?
No, this is one example.
Yeah.
We're doing the same thing with the farmers with all that reseed stuff and all. So it'll evolve.
Guy is taking this blockchain technology as a threat or opportunity?
What do you think? Hey, be honest. Of course. So I've publicly said this to banks on panels with Citibank, HSBC, you name the big banks, central banks, on stage. I've named and shamed them. I say, so I like banking, I don't like banks. Right? So they see it as a threat. But think why they see it as a threat. Our money, we put it in their hands. Trust. Alright? Don't tell me a bank can't go bankrupt and a bank doesn't lose your money. That shit happens, right? Don't tell me no matter what fiat currency you have, there is no corruption and money laundering. It's the highest amount, yet they say crypto is the highest amount of money laundering. You go and see the stats, it's 0.001%. Alright? Now you look at the banking organization and the cartel, as I call it, how it all started, how banking started with the Treasury and the US and all that. Just YouTube it and go and see how it started. Why did they have it as a separate organization? Because the Big Five and all these control this whole thing. Why the dollar is the way it is. Alright? But with that, think what comes on. Okay? With that, that's why they had the big glass buildings and paying themselves millions in salaries and have hundreds of thousands of employees. Whose money do you think it's from? Our money, right? How can they afford to do that with our money? If you're an investor in a company, I would ask you, show me your P&L balance sheet and I want to see that my money is well spent. But as a client of a bank, fuck off, go to another bank, right? Right? If you think of how it should be, we should be openly and transparently told about this. I've done 2 banks and I've done 2 exchanges. So think about it now. If I come back and say, cut all that middleman, my vision is, as I said, be the coin and I want to make paid banking. I want to pay you to bank with me. That's my real vision. That's how I impact more than 1 billion people's lives. Think why I'm saying I want to pay you to bank with me. Because if you see the whole banking infrastructure and how they operate, they protect that. That's why they don't like digital currency. They know this thing is going to. Look at how many fintech projects have happened in just the last 5 years, right? Tons of them, right? And now look at what kind of value add people are seeing already with those fintech projects. So our thing is, whilst you're banking on our platform, you will get a much better interest rates on your deposits than secured deposits. So when bank gives you 2, 3, 5%, if you're damn lucky, we give 20, 30%. Alright? For your deposits. Whilst banks charges you so much, and I've been saying this for 10 years, SWIFT days are numbered unless they embrace this. They're numbered. It's already impacted. It's a 40-year-old technology. It's done it went. Right? Why is there such a big battle with XRP just now? How many people are falling down? Okay? Why is that big thing happening? Because they know it's a threat. The SEC know that if Ripple gets forward with all of this, with all the banks they have under their belt, the banking industry will be disrupted. Their cost of transactions 0.004 cents per transaction. Okay? Bank and SWIFT, how much do they charge? $10, $20, $30, depends who you are. I was saying jug like that at home in Dubai. It's supposed to be good for you, are you better, right? Alright. So my thing is now, if I give you targeted advertising, I know bank's biggest problem is they don't know how to engage with clients. So we've resolved that with various AI-based tech and various targeted ways of doing that. So we know where your spending is. I fly there, I go to this restaurant, I buy water, I do this, I do whatever it is. They know what you're spending on. Alright? Why wouldn't it be good if the bank engages with you? Hey, you notice you like this? You do like 5% discount, 10, 20% discount. Us Indians, we love freaking discounts, right? No matter how much money you have, right? You still want to have another discount. Okay? So you get that targeted information. So now you're saving money. Your bank is helping you save money. 1. It's saving you on transaction fees. 2. It's helping you increase your interest for deposits. 4. If you allow it, based on GDPR rules, for you to see ads, targeted ads based on your selected interest areas. I wouldn't mind seeing targeted ads. I hate seeing bullshit ads, right? So based on my interest, I love that. I might find something, I might get something, right? But it's targeted. I know it's to my profile. I've said I'm interested. And if the bank gives you that with follow-up incentives, cashbacks and things like that, cashbacks never existed in banks, eh? It's only because of the trend and all this from fintechs is forcing them to do that now. Banks are beginning to do that 2, 3, 4, 5% cashbacks, right? If you use their card. So the banks will have to change or they'll die. I said it 10 years ago, 50% of banks will go in 5 years. It happened. Retail banking happened. I say it again, 50% will go again in the next 5 years in the retail space. It's already happening. Why? They can't afford it. They cannot afford it. Right? And it's good. The users, us, well, I've got, I don't know, 20 wallets or something like that. We don't have time. When was the last time anyone, I don't know about students, when was the last time anyone went into a bank branch? In India, I think you do probably. Oh, fantastic news. Look at that. Fantastic news, right? Why did it freaking crash? At our cost. Right?
Incentivizing and giving it back and everything. I just want to know how you are generating revenue. How are you making money?
Great question. So, think, when WhatsApp started, did they think, how do we generate revenue?
No.
How much was WhatsApp sold for? Nearly 20 billion. All right? So your start should be based on not, so many years I was saying, don't focus on the money and the success. Focus on what you're doing that is best, that helps the community. Money will come. All right? Now, if you think how we are making the money, and I'll answer it exactly. All these ads revenue, which Google's, YouTube's, all these Facebook people do, look at the valuations of these companies, right? That's their lion's share of their revenue. We are saying we will give 80% of it out to the stakeholders. If they even get 5, 10%, it'd be fantastic. It'll make a difference in the world and impact the world, correct? It'll cut poverty, it'll cut most of those things, right? So that 20% that we keep, you'll be surprised if we even get a 10% market share. That's a huge number. Now look at the environmental things. Yes, the farmers, the milk, the energy, reducing costs, blah, blah, blah. All these people are doing lots of environment things. People are not looking at the carbon credits and the offset side of the revenue. Believe me, in the next 5, 8 years, that is going to be the next big currency. So when you guys come out in the real world and you want to develop something, that's your next big currency. Look at it from that way. All right? So where we give 50% back, we keep the rest and distribute it with our stakeholders. And even if we keep 20%, it's big money. All right? But it is clean money because you're also helping the community in the process. You're helping the environment, you're helping the poor, the hungry, the charities, the blah, blah, blah. You're doing it with a clean intention in a fair way of distribution. Who wouldn't want to do that? Right? Rather than give it to the tech monopolistic people. True? So that's where it comes. And then, without getting into the VC side of my hat, you then take the multipliers of that revenue and then the volume of your user base. Yeah, so if I even had 1 billion users, doing even 20% of that, that's $1 trillion company. All right? So don't look at success and waste the money. Look at really making an impact with lots of people, giving back, community, blah, blah, blah. The money will come. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's not a unicorn, it's a camel. All right? Answer?
Like your name is Maru or like my real
Rudang.
name?
Rudang. Yeah. And our blockchain, ironically, it's called My Real Universe. It wasn't. It's not me. One of my guys says, "Oh, I've been hearing you for 2 years talking about this is my real universe, and not the virtual, the donkeys, the apes, the camels, all the. You talk about my real world, my real universe, and helping the world. Why don't you just name your blockchain MRU?" How do you get that? It's because you say my real. He was my friend, my partner. So you see, this is the conspiracies out there saying if you use blockchain and crypto, that is not environmentally friendly, right? So these are what I call the idiots in the world who don't understand what's blockchain, what's crypto, what's energy consumption, what's usage, and anything, okay? So when someone knows, this is how, if someone asks you, here's how I would say. Think of even simple paper money, all right? So you take a dollar out or dirham or rupee or whatever, think what's involved in creating that piece of paper. Okay? So many trees have to be built. Grown, chopped, cleaned, electricity use, transported, fossil fuel use, taken to the processing, electricity, chemicals, environment pollution, blah 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 happens. Taken to the mills to convert to paper, taken to another specialist place to make it money type of paper, etc., etc. Money gets printed in the mint, then gets transported, put in central reserve banks, taken, transported out, taken to the branches. Branches puts in an ATM, manpower, electricity, security code, G4, all these people come in, pollution, just to take that piece of paper. Now, how can someone with a straight face tell me, and believe me, I've had the biggest banks ask me this, and I've shamed them to say, it's only because you guys get paid for it you are doing this. Because your jobs are gone. Let's be honest, right? Because now with a wallet and a QR code, I can buy anything from bloody potatoes to shoes, watches, whatever I want. Where is that whole process? So you say, okay, what is the currency you use it? 99% of the time, people don't use Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, because it's a proof of work type of blockchain. Sorry, those who don't know blockchain, just download the book. I'll send you that book, right? Remind me. So it's a proof of work, which takes a lot of energy. Okay? But there are so many other proof of stake types of blockchains, and I named XRP earlier, their energy consumption is very little. So cost of transactions very little in terms of energy or cost, right? And then think, there's no paper, no nothing. That's all benefits. Now think what we are also doing with that immersion for technology. 50 to 90% of electricity consumption goes down, even if you're a Bitcoin miner. And we're doing a 2 gigawatt plant in Texas, for example, just that, right? That's not a small farm. And British Telecom and quite a few others, right? So when you reduce the cost so much of normal traditional data centers, normal traditional mining farms, you reduce the energy impact already. But then if you count the other supply chain for real paper money, it's stupid. And that's the thing they don't talk about, because the cost of their job. The government now, their main objective is A, track what you're spending and where. 2, if you're a Chinese type of thing, they will even stop you and block you to say, because you didn't pay this, or because of X, Y, and Z, and because of the GDPs of the rocket, we've capped you to spend only X amount per month. Okay? We can do that. Boom, like this. Then, oh, you've been buying too much American goods or Indian goods or blah, blah, blah. Whoa, we'll block your account. So this is the way they track all that. All right? So in my view, yes, because if you're an employee, you'll be paid with that, but the number of people then transferring it to another currency to give them that openness way of transacting around the world without too much of that big brother feel, will do that. I'd hate to comment about India because I'm in India, but ping me and I'll tell you my view about it. But bottom line is, yes, they will do almost the same. They've been on, off over here about crypto. And my honest opinion is, the politicians, whatever, they are suffocating innovation. When, if you think most of the world's big blockchain engineering, fintech, edutech, whatever tech it is, there are a lot of Indians behind it, right? And now you're suffocating your own citizens to become more creative and innovative. I don't get it. I'm in Dubai, and believe me, I see thousands of people coming there, buy, and set up businesses there. A lot of innovators, and I know most of the big guys here, on stage, off stage, whatever. So they're doing that for that main reason. Innovation's being stifled and suffocated here, and it's not right. In my view. Okay. One of the biggest criticism on any blockchain, any wallet, any fintech, any exchange is it's not simple enough, it's not secure enough, and the custodial side of it especially is not proper. I'll show you something. Let me see if I've got it with me. So, I was part of the Sun and Java and all that, as I said in the beginning. And even 22 years ago, Google it, we had a card like this, okay? So that's a full-on Java card, all right? It does not have a name, it does not have a number, it does not have a mag stripe, it does not have a CVV code. These are the biggest places fraud is done. So you look at any of the big banks, or Visa, MasterCard, whatever, that's where they lose most of the money. We have a fingerprint system here, okay, which is better than any phone, but better than even and people like that. I know because I put the name National Automated ID and fingerprint system in UK 30 odd years ago. And I know it's like 15, 18, 20 militia points maximum. This is like 40 militia points, right? 40, much bigger than any of the mobile phones now, which are between 12 to 18, all right? So it's an extremely secure fingerprint. So there's no better ID than that, right? More than that, it's got an encrypted storage in there for that. So it's not on anywhere else. So it's like having your ledger with your fingerprint, yeah? And it has 4 gig of storage, it can have 16, and you can store your currencies on there that you need whilst you are mobile. The rest can be put on your secure wherever. But what you need to go around in case of emergency, you can have, right? And you can put multiple cards on the same thing. This I did 5 years ago. Guess what? MasterCard, Visa, stopped it. They won't give me license for this. Think why? Right? It'll screw up their whole business. Right? Wallet to wallet, NFC. I have NFC, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, RFID on this. If that makes sense to anyone. I'm talking too much tech here. Yeah? So it's stopped because of those guys having that threat. So how do you overcome it? Now, because tech is moving on, you do various forms of payment gateways, and you do it that way. But, again, the security is down to you. You say, do I want my own money in my pocket and where you keep it, or do you want it in the bank? That is your call. At least you have that choice. Banks don't give you that choice. Right? So if someone says FTX and all this, yeah, Lehman Brothers, all this blah, 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 banks did it. A lot of banks even had that problem, right?
The question was, is the rural India equipped enough, knowledgeable enough
No.
to use this?
No, because we don't have a simple solution. It's a problem of the blockchain fintech providers. Even Paytm with this QR code and all that, money, custodials, all that, people don't know. All they care about is money somewhere, Paytm, trusted, blah, blah. Right? I was involved in the Kenyan M-Pesa well before Paytm. So, same thing. And they charge too much fees as well in some places, so it's not fair. Right? So it's evolving. It's evolving. That's bottom line.